All right, for this look, we're going to do something that's a little bit similar to what we did earlier. We're just going to use one light. And for this look, we put the light directly up above. So it's angled back just a tiny bit, but basically you're having light just kind of gushing straight down on your subject. So they're going to stand kind of basically under this, let the light wash down on them. So there's one problem with this technique. The problem with this technique is that their eyes can turn absolutely black. The sockets and everything can turn black. So what we have to do generally is to have your subject tilt their head up a little bit. If you look at the shot that I took from the book, the guy's holding a MacBook, and we're going to have Mark hold a MacBook for us here in just a moment. But he's kind of laughing, he's kind of tilted back a little, ha ha, and that way I was able to get a little light in his eyes. So we're going to have to work with Mark to make sure that he either looks up at the light or tilts his head back a little, or when he's laughing or making a gesture that he's looking up. Because if not, now, can I go back there and fix it in Photoshop? Absolutely. You know how I feel about that. I don't want to have to fix it if I don't have to. So I'd rather fix it here on the set. So the setup is quite easy. It's just one light straight overhead with a boom. Not much to it, but it's really great for guys. This is not a good flattering shot for women. It's not going to be very pretty. This is kind of a nice, harsh, edgy look for a guy. Now, what I'm going to have him do is we'll come in. The settings for the camera. We're in manual mode, of course, 125th of a second, and we're at like f7.1. So that's pretty, you know, f8, something like that is a good starting place, anywhere between 5.6 and f8. And all you're going to do is take a few test shots. I want to make sure that he's solid all the way through. I could go all the way to f11, right? f11, I know it's going to be all the way sharp all the way through. And that's kind of a nice sweet spot. Also, f11 on a lot of lenses is kind of a nice sharp spot as well. But so if I wanted to go to f11, what would I do? Well, all I have to do is adjust the power of the lens, of the strobe. Because once I set it at f11, I know, I've told the camera, I really want this to be sharp all the way through. So the one thing I'm going to adjust is not the camera. Once I set it at 1/25th and f11, then I'll be adjusting the power of the strobe up and down. If it's too dark at f11, I'll just increase the power of the strobe. If it's too light at f11, I'll decrease the power of the strobe. That's all there is to it. It's not, I think a lot of people think this is really a very, very complicated thing, but especially with a one light shoot like this, it couldn't be easier. All right, we're using a black background. The black background's a pop-up background from Westcott, same one we've been using all day. Let's bring Mark into the set. And Mark's holding a power book here. Mark actually just became recently a Mac owner, so it's kind of authentic in some way. Now, the guy I shot at the picture that you saw at the beginning of this, he is a Mac freak, so that's why we had him hold it was very his personality. Mark is not yet a Mac freak, so he's a new Mac owner. So he probably won't love it as much as the guy in the first shot did. All right, let me have you hold it up kind of like he did, a little up higher for me, if you will. And let's go ahead and take a test shot, and I'm going to kind of go, I need to actually back up a little bit, so we're going to actually ask Adam, our cameraman, to back up a little bit too. By the way, that was Adam's salad we shot earlier. He did finally get to eat it. Okay, here we go. Let's, there we go. That looks good, very good. All right, looks pretty good. His head was tilted back a little, so we got a little bit of light in the eyes, but I kind of captured you when your eyes were almost closed. So let's take a couple of more shots here. I'm going to back out just a little bit more. Now, I'm having to be careful. That looks good. All right, now let's see if we can, now what do we have to do to actually, okay, so that's his fake professional model smile. What do we actually have to do to get him to do the real non-fake smile? Okay, that was closer, that was closer. All right, very good. Okay. All right, good. That looks good. That looks good. That is a almost kind of real looking fake model smile. See, that's the kind of stuff that you can mess with Mark about. And okay, we're getting it good. We're getting some light in there in the eyes. That's good. He's doing a good job. Now, here's the thing, we're very lucky to be working with a professional model. You're not always working with a professional model or a professional cameraman that bangs into things on the set. Sometimes you're working with amateur cameramen and just regular people. So it's very easy to work with Mark. You can tell Mark, look over here, look over there, tilt up, tip down. It's going to be a little harder when you're working with doing a portrait of maybe an executive or somebody on location. You're just going to have to remember to keep directing them, because they'll remember for one shot. They'll look up for one shot. Mark can hold that pose all day long, but when you're not working with a professional model, they'll hold it for one pose and then they'll look back down. So don't get all tied up in what's going on in the camera and forget what they're doing here. Let me take a couple more shots of Mark here for this. There we go. Very nice. Good. And I'm tilting the camera a little just to get some of these. Let's shoot a couple of portrait style here too. That'll probably look pretty good. It's a little different than the shot. Well, this looks actually really good. Let's take a look. All right. And see how he's keeping that up, looking up thing pretty good. Let me see the little teeth there. There we go. Very nice. Good. These look pretty good. I'm shocked. Anyway, so there's a very, very, very simple look. It's just a slight adjustment, kind of what we did on the kind of that beauty portrait we did earlier with the clamshell look in the over and under. You're just not doing any kind of reflector underneath. Now, could you put a reflector and add a little bit of light in there? You absolutely could. Let's grab Brad. Let's have him use a white reflector and just kind of stick it in there. Let's see what that does here. We're going to grab Brad and we're going to stick a white reflector in there and just see what a little bit of light. I don't want to throw a whole bunch of light. If we use silver, it's going to throw a lot more light in there. So if we use white, so here comes Brad with a white reflector. We're going to try this and let's see what a difference it makes. On the white side, right in there. All right, let me compare it with the one previously. Wow. Okay, so that actually does work pretty well. It didn't really add too much trouble. Put it back in there again. It didn't add too much. I was afraid it might add too much light, but actually it looks pretty good. Now you don't have to worry about looking up so much because the light's going to be reflected from what he did there. Yeah, actually, you know what? Second thought, bring in your Brad with a white reflector. Let's flip it over to silver, see what silver does. Actually, the white looked fine. I think I'd stick with the white. But again, these are the kind of things you're going to try on your own. You're going to flip it over. What's it cost for an extra frame of digital? 0. That's what's great about it. And you get instant feedback right here on the back of the camera.